Okay, I think one of the interesting things about Brookdale, and it is definitely a testament to the individuals like yourselves, is that 1970s, mid 1970s, we had the need to create a forum for discussion, participation. We had already received our accreditation 1972. And at that particular time, individuals like yourselves said we need to create shared governance. Now, it's never going to be perfect. We know that. We always have to keep looking, changing, restructuring. So at that time, we ended up starting a forum for discussion, and we called it the Senate. At that particular time, I was only an observer. I was an assistant to the vice president, and I was very fortunate in watching the creation of this. Individuals such as yourselves created committees. We had academic council, we had academic standards, we had people's concern, and basically we had representation from all constituencies. Brookdale did not believe in just creating something that was being done at another college, just as you're going to hear from Tony. We created something that met our needs, which meant we supported democracy, participation. We wanted all constituencies to have some voice in participation. And I think what was important, if you could just bear with me for a second, I went over to the standards for middle states. I think many of Sue and Catherine know I'm still working with middle states, and a very important statement under Standard 7 says, a clearly articulated and transparent governance structure that outlines the roles, the responsibilities, and accountability for decision-making by each constituency, and that's what's important for Brookdale, each constituency, including governing body, administration, faculty, staff, and students. And that's how it started. So we were trying to meet many different needs, but again, we weren't perfect, but yet we were a structure. We had elected representation from all of the constituencies. And basically, as we're leading up into the late 80s, many things were going on in the climate of the college. Tony, you were seeing it then, Ann, you were seeing it then. And we were looking for more participation. We basically had a middle states visit coming in. During the visit, there was a meeting held by the faculty, which Tony's going to tell you about. And at that particular time, we were looking at restructuring. But we always, and it is a testament to all of you and to everyone that ever served in governance, that from the mid 70s till now, we had shared governance. It may not have been perfect, but we had it.
Basically, what had happened toward the end of the 80s was that some of us in academics did not think that the academic side of the college was being represented enough. The forum meetings or the Senate meetings were basically where the administrators would tell us what they did, and that was about it. And so they were not as productive as they otherwise could have been. So some of us got together and said, we got to do something to bring the faculty more into focus at the college. So we began to agitate in that direction. And it was just happened to be around the same time that Middle States was visiting. And we held a meeting in which which was a standing room only meeting. And all this is explained in the article in the podium, which I think you should all read. And we had announced that we're going to start forming an academic faculty Senate type of thing. Well, the problem was that what we would be doing would be freezing into place the conflicts that were existing in the college at that time. This was not a peaceful environment at the college. Contract negotiations were terrible. I mean, they were awful. And there was terrible conflict between faculty and administration. There were cliques within the faculty and cliques within the administration, which were trying to run the college for their own particular purposes. It was a mess. In my opinion, it was a mess. And so we decided to look around for another model. Rather than a representative model where each group represents itself, we wanted something that was more collaborative. So we searched a number of different colleges. I don't really remember all the different models that we looked at, but we're very impressed by what they were doing up at Raritan Community College. So we invited Jerry Jones, who was the main individual who was working on their new government structure. He said, the best way to go if you're having a conflicting situation is to go with participatory, not representative. So basically participatory meant that everyone gets involved. It's a totally open situation. No secrets. Different groups aren't pursuing their own particular thing unknown to everyone else. And so we developed a particular, we worked for several years on developing a particular form. The basic point was the main ideas. I think if you follow the main ideas, your structure is less important. If everyone follows the main ideas, and one of them is the participatory model. Everybody's involved. Everyone who has any role or say in a particular issue has a role to say in that particular issue. The more input, the better. I would also point out that it was a bottoms-up system. We came up with this on our own, not the president, not an administrator, but and that's always been one of the strengths of Brookdale. Whether it was new courses, new programs, it's always been from the bottom up. Everyone gets involved, and that's a really positive side of Brookdale's history.